happening? Welcome everybody to yet another Comics Across the Pond.
Yep.
Morning, Dave. What's up, bud?
Hi, Pops. How's things going? Because I believe you've been having tornadoes.
Well, we had tornado last week, and
Yeah.
then it went back to snow. Now it's just cold. I don't know what's man. I'm tired of weather in general. Just tired of weather in general, you know.
I do know what you mean. I mean, we don't get it quite that bad over here, as you probably know.
It's just one of them things, Dave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I want to play this ad real quick before we start.
Yeah.
I want this at the beginning of the show sometimes because this is all about a local Comic-Con, yo.
Okay.
So, y'all check this out. We'll be right back.
Coming to Kalamazoo, an event so epic that it must be seen to be believed. A celebration so grand it spans 3 days. Kalamazoo Comic-Con. Join us April 10th through 12th, 2026 at the Kalamazoo Expo Center, 2900 Lake Street, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Doors open Friday from noon to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meet legendary comic guests like Andrew Petboy, Bart Sears, Bob Hall, Corinne Roberts, Dan Monroe, Danica Davidson, Paul D. Story, Randy Zimmerman, Roger Schultz, Scott Grosema, and Tim Seeley. They're all ready to sign, sketch, and share stories from your favorite comics. And that's not all. Rub shoulders with other special guests, including Blake Foster from Power Rangers, Daniel Logan from Star Wars, Hunter Dino from Power Rangers Dino Fury, Jason Douglas, the voice of Attack on Titan, Megan Shipman from My Hero Academia, Morgana Ignis from Hell of a Boss, Natalie Von Sistine from Dan to Dan, Tiffany Vollmer from Dragon Ball, Young Ye from Like a Dragon, Georgina Leahy, Christina Gailey, Christine McCulfer, Jesse Milo Miles, Kristen Simmons, and the amazing Pink Opal cosplay. Dive into non-stop activities, thrilling panels and Q&As, autograph sessions, photo ops with stars, a massive exhibit hall packed with comics, merch, and collectibles, artist alley showcases, epic cosplay contests, gaming tournaments, kids zones for family fun, and so much more to geek out over. Don't miss this ultimate celebration of comics and pop culture. Grab your tickets now at grcomiccon.com. Prices start low with 3-day passes for the full adventure. We'll see you there, heroes.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Yeah. Nice.
On Saturday, walking the floor like I usually do.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's the one you said you were going to, wasn't it?
Well, this is also the one I'm trying to get a booth at for the madness in general.
Right, okay.
Like,
well, I recognize one name out of all of those names, and that's Dan Monroe, because I watch his videos on YouTube.
Dan Monroe used to be part of the madness.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He did a show for a short while.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's but also Bart Sears.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Seeley gonna be there.
Yeah.
So there's some, there's some cool people gonna be there. People I've met before.
Yeah.
But Kalamazoo is like the smaller of the two. They also do Grand Rapids Comic-Con later in the year.
Yeah, I've heard of that one before, Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I go to that one every year too. So, hoping to get in there, set up a booth. Already talked to Mike Barron. He's willing to come up.
Yeah.
Talked to Les Garner. He's willing to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Brown's willing to come over from Pennsylvania and hang out. So, it's like if we had a book, we'd have people there that would draw. Okay. If you're a Mike Barron fan, you want to meet Mike, get Mike signed stuff, Tell Mark Hodges over there at Grand Rapids Comic Con, you want Mike Baron. Just tell him. Tell him. We'll make it happen.
That's it. So how far away is that for you to get to, by the way?
Kalamazoo's only like 35 minutes up the road. Grand
Rapids,
that's
pretty local then for you, that.
Both of them are local. And the Hall of Heroes is only about 40 minutes the other direction.
So that's not so bad.
No. I get to go to at least 3 every year.
Right.
But I really like to be setting up a booth there and doing it right. Broadcast show, interviewing guests, interviewing fans, doing just like we did in Savannah that one weekend, but on a more professional scale. Because we had no idea what we were doing that weekend. We just hauled ass down there and
excellent.
We hauled ass down there, set up the computer. That was it. It's like we didn't know what we were doing. It was crazy. Now I have a very good idea.
Yeah.
A good broadcast show all weekend long.
Excellent.
And like this show, like Sunday at the con, we'd still be doing this show. It'd be on the big screen right there. People walking by can see it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd still be doing it, and we'd be able to like grab a fan. Hey, what's in the bag? What you got in the bag?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. So, we're going to still do our regular shows.
Yeah.
It's not a live show. We'll be having people running the floor. We'll be doing interviews, all that kind of shit. Class. We can even live broadcast panel or two if it doesn't interfere with shows.
Yeah.
That would be real cool. Right?
Well, it sounds like that comic's still on its way to you, Pops, because I posted it roughly 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's still trying to get here.
Yes, it is. I mean, I'm confident you'll get it eventually.
Oh, yeah. At least we did get to show everybody last week.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago. At least they saw it.
They did.
Cover that he signed, and that's written and it's created by Casey, my boy down here at Buy Me Toys.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll get it sometime in the next week or so. Do you reckon?
Yeah, it's definitely take a trip down there and get autographed by Casey too, for sure. Just because, right? Just because.
Yeah, that's it.
So we have a show for you people today, but first, let me see. Where's Dave's eBay? I got so many tabs open. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Let me see. Where's Dave's eBay tab? Dang it. There it is.
It should be there somewhere.
I found it. Okay. Nice. And you know what it is, people. It's another one of them awesome eBay sales from Dave. 2,500 plus positive transactions. All positive, 100%. Star Trek, yo. What do we got here?
Yeah, not just Star Trek, though.
Oh, right.
It's a Star Trek crossover.
Oh, what's this Raph right here? Oh. I don't have that. Raph's my favorite turtle. You know that.
Ah, right.
Raph I have. That's the back cover, though. Huh? It's not.
Yeah, those are the back covers. Yeah.
Damn,
Those are the back covers.
I don't have that book. I want that book.
All right.
All right. So, Star Trek Legion of Superheroes. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. How's that for a crossover?
Spock and Robin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? A bit of a strange one because I think there was only 4 issues, was there? Yeah, is that right? 4 issues, I think. So it's just like a mini series, I suppose you'd call it. Interesting, isn't it?
Wonder Twins. Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of a spaceship.
That's the one.
There you go. Some Star Trek and the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, so if you like both of those, it's up for grabs.
As always, they're in great condition because Dave don't read them. He just buys them and puts them in a bag.
Of course I did.
No, he reads some of them, just not all.
I do read some of them, to be fair.
Yeah. So number 2 through 5. Did you miss number 1, Dave? What happened?
Yeah, I didn't get number 1 at the time. I sort of missed it for some reason, and I never managed to find it for another reason. So I've just got the final 4.
All right. So if you got number 1 and get the rest of them, here you go.
Yeah. If you've got number 1 already, the rest are here. Or if you haven't got number 1 already, buy these, and then you just have to find number 1.
There you go, people. Star Trek and the Legion of Superheroes. Go get you some right there. Silver_Surfer_1 on eBay.
That's me.
Oh, all right. Now, can I tell you? Hot stuff too, Dave. Hot stuff. Our friend, Joe Corrales III. I'm digging myself for a minute. Sent me the 16th book in the Improbable Girl and Wonder Kitty series.
Yeah. I think you've shown these before, haven't you?
Yes. He faithfully sends me a new book every time he puts one out, and I love this stuff. This is fun. This is fun stuff. And this is covered by Terry S. Moore.
All right.
So you guys know. Okay. Covered by Terry Moore. Good stuff. Right?
Very nice.
And our buddy Fred Schwartz, Fisticuffs, baby. There you go. And this one is mature content, people. There's drugs and all kinds of stuff in this book. I'm not a little kid. No. And last but most definitely not least, legendary Mike Baron.
Yeah.
The first book in the 10-year series. I already read the second one. They're standalone stories, so you don't have
to read it. Yeah.
But he sent me, he's like, number 3's on the way. I said, no, wait a minute. What about number 1? I haven't read number 1 yet. So sent me number 1. And this is wonderful stuff. Some of you may have seen recently where Mike gave me a little proofreading endorsement. I don't do it on purpose. It's like I tell him, dude, I'm not trying to be a dick, but on page blah blah blah, there's a blah blah, and it's like he told me, he said, Pop, sometimes you hope for some professional proofreading.
That's it.
We all need a proofreader that first won't put your stuff on the back burner while he does somebody else's.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you, I can get this done by blah, blah, blah if I can't. I'm not going to take somebody else's work after yours and put it in front of yours. None of that shit, okay? Somebody sends me a book to proofread, I proofread it. I put my personal stuff down. I don't video game for a day or two. I don't read other stuff. I proofread the book, right? And I do my shows, okay? So that's it. Right.
That's fair.
And man, it's like I want your product, whoever's watching, I don't care who you are. If you have a book, a campaign, a series, whatever, a novel, I want your product to be the best it can be. Okay. When I pick it up and read it, I don't want to be taken out of the story by spelling errors and stuff like that, because that's what happens to me. It jumps off the page at like that.
Yeah, I do know.
Okay. So I like to proofread and make sure your product goes out to the people in the best possible condition that it can, or be the best product it can be. So I proofread, and I do it because of that, because I want your product to be the best. That's all. I never really thought about rates and stuff because I've mostly been doing it for friends.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just come to my attention lately, the more stuff I read, that it's needed. You know, if it's not me, get somebody else, but get somebody that's good at it. A lot of people are like, man, have your friend read it, you know, do. And it's like, no, don't have no yes men read it. Have somebody read it that ain't afraid to tell you that's wrong or that needs to be fixed or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
that's it. Yeah.
You got to give it to somebody who's willing to tell you the truth, you know? So, you know, hey, I love your friends, but they're probably not the best proofreaders or editors for your book. You know, I love your friends. I love my friends, but
yeah, that's the one.
Find somebody that actually does it. And that's the other thing, man. It's like I've done it so many times now. I have legitimate references, Dave. I have legitimate references for it. So if you need a proofreader or you're not happy with the people doing that for you now, or you're new and didn't even know you needed one, hit me up. I'm totally reasonable and in some cases negotiable. Okay, because different books are different sizes, stuff like that, you know. But hit me up, man, because I want your product to be the best it can be. I want it to pass the pop smell test, yo. And that means, you know, that you can read it through without going, oh, that's not how you spell contempt. You see what I'm saying? I don't like that. Those things
sure do.
Story, right?
I sure do. It's a bit like me sometimes when I'm trying to pronounce words when I'm reading some of these issues that we do. I do struggle slightly, as you've probably noticed from time to time.
Well, I mean, the difference, you know, the way sometimes the way you guys say stuff, the way we say stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all to do with the accent, you know.
That too, yeah. I mean, it's like, you live over there, man, and we love you, Dave. We're glad you're here. Matthew, what's up, buddy? Got Matthew up there in the chat. All right, so this is the part of the show where I ask y'all, share the show. Share it.
Yeah.
Drop it on your social. Get people in here because we're about to go through Marvel Superheroes number 17, The Black Knight. And we're talking about way back in the 60s, right, Dave? Or early 70s.
Sure are. We sure are. The late 60s, I believe.
Yeah. So we're going back, way back. We're going to show y'all what comics used to be. That's kind of what this show is about, really, anymore, is showing you what comics used to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you can go buy comics today and you can make that comparison yourself and decide whether or not you like the direction. You know what I mean?
Indeed. So, yeah.
I see you over there dropping a raid on us over on Pilled. How you doing? Thank you. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're just getting ready to start going through this comic, so you're right on time.
Yeah, we have 2 issues today. We're doing the Black Knight one, as you mentioned before, but we're also going to do this strange suspense story in this compilation.
Is this another show?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And also, I've got another comic off the spinner rack for finishing off with. So we've got 3 things to look at today.
Be careful pulling them off the spinner rack. They end up at Pop's house now.
Oh, don't worry. I don't plan to send you too many Pops because the postage, I can't believe how much the postage was. It was actually £8 to post that one comic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's scary price. I mean, if I was sending that in the UK, it would have been about £2.30.
It's even worse going that way.
Yeah, I believe so.
From here going that way. Like I'll send Carrie a couple of books in the box, right? Under £3. Everything up to £3, like $50.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? It was like 2.3 pounds, 2.8 pounds. It's still 48.90 something every time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I try to get enough stuff in a box to make it worth her paying that much for shipping.
Yeah, send it as a like job lot kind of thing, you know.
But then if if she was to order everyone individually, she's going
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
it costs a fortune.
$5 every time, right?
Yeah, it would cost a fortune.
It's crazy. We're good, Matthew. I saw you last night over on Christian Show. It's good to see you out there doing the thing, bro. I also might be sending you a couple people want to talk to you about effing con. Chris Brown over there, Laughing Road, might want to talk to you about effing con because, I mean, depending on the size, he's not going to travel halfway across the country unless there's enough people there to buy stuff to make it worth his while. But everybody's interested in getting out on the floors of cons, man. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that out. Appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna big screen this man and let him do his thing.
Right, so we're going to kick off with another short Steve Ditko story from the archives. And this one's called A Hole in His Head.
Oh, man, that just describes 90% of the people out there walking the street right now.
So as it says above the title, it says, the gun poked through the curtain of time and fired across 1,000,000 years to put a hole in his head.
Dave, I'm getting a little crackle on your mic.
I should be okay.
Get a little crackle on the mic, like you might be too close to it or something.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay slightly further away. Is that better?
That's weird.
Yeah, I can't hear any crackle at my end, to be fair, and I can hear you all right.
You hear a crackle, Matthew? Talk to me.
Yeah, I can't hear any crackle at my end, I'm afraid.
Anyway, you go ahead and begin.
Okay, I shall start off. So, as it says here, as Martha Hardy told the story, it was Carl Morton who found the skull just off a dirt road some 45 miles from the city of Madrid, Spain, on a cold, wet night in February 1934. So, as the chap says, Mr. Porter, look at this. It was sticking up out of the mud. I hit it with my toe and it came loose. Whatever it is, it can wait. I have a lecture to deliver at the Institute in Madrid tomorrow, remember? And we're lost. How far do we still have to travel? And it says Madrid, 90 kilometres there, so quite a bit. It actually says it 90 kilometres according to the signpost. But Porter, I've been with you long enough to know a fossil when I see one. Look, this thing is ancient. You're a man of many talents, aren't you, Carl? Let me see that.
Dave, I hate to do this, but let's try something.
Okay.
You want to try refreshing and coming back in?
I can, yes, I'll do that. I'll pop out and pop back in, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
It's bad. I can't hardly understand what he's saying. He's like, I want everybody to be able to hear him and understand what he's saying. So we'll try to fix this real quick. Doesn't happen too often with Dave. I don't know if it's a tech thing. Yeah, I can still hear him too, but I want people to hang out. I don't want people to go, oh, this sounds awful, and leave. I want people to hang out. So. And believe me, anytime my audio's whacked, I want people to let me know. Because, again, all right, here he comes. Let's find out.
I'm back again.
Hey, that sounds better, too. Hold on.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's gone. See? That was a good idea,
okay.
Pops. There we go.
Excellent. Right, so we're good to go, yeah? Right.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Right, so we did that one. So John Porter was an anthropologist, that's it. Carl Morton was his manager, and Martha Hardy was his secretary, as well as his fiancée. All three were tired and tense. European lecture tours are not easy. That was to be important later. So he says, well, I can't be sure, but It is. Look at the eye ridges, the teeth, the jawbone is gone, but even so, there can be no doubt this is incredible. I'd stake my reputation that this is the skull of a Neanderthal man, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of years old. But such things just aren't found this way. And the chap says this one was. The rain must have washed away the earth around it. I'll bet that old boy never figured he'd be picked up by someone like me when he conked out. That's what probably killed him, that hole, right between the eyes. What a break. I can just see the headlines. Anthropologists find skull in million-year-old murder victim. Your interest in my career touches me, Carl, but let's not overdo it. Now, see here, Porter, I'm getting fed up. You've been picking on me for weeks. Okay, suppose you get it off your chest. What's eating you? As if you didn't know. I'll tell you what's bothering me. It's Martha.
Martha? Not another Martha.
She says, John, what are you saying? You thought I didn't know her? My manager and my fiancé sneaking off together at every opportunity, making a fool of this stupid bookworm. So that's it. That's why you've been acting like a character out of Macbeth. You think Martha and I have been sneaking behind your back, you dirty-minded. Carl, no, don't. John is just overtired. He doesn't really believe that.
Fight it out. Go ahead. Fight it out.
As Martha told it afterwards, there was nothing between her and Carl, but the damage had been done. There was a struggle and the embankment was soft and muddy. Martha Hardy could never explain it. She knew only that the earth gave way, that suddenly she was one of the 3 people tumbling down a muddy incline into another world. John, Carl, look. Great Scott, I see it, but I don't believe it. John, where are we? What's happened? I don't know, but this is like a scene right out of prehistoric times. Those trees. There haven't been trees like that on Earth for thousands of centuries. That's what you say. It's a good try, John, but it won't work. I haven't forgotten what you said. No, Carl, don't be a fool. Our personal differences can wait. Something is wrong. This is Spain. It's February, but it's warm, tropical. I think we'd better try to find the car. There had to be an explanation, of course, but it was not to be found at the top of the slope. Gone. The road, the car, even the skull. They're gone. John, what does it mean? It's like a dream, a nightmare, as if we'd gone back in time. Perhaps we have. My mind says it's impossible, but we can't all be having the same hallucinations. Back in time, my eye. I don't get it either, but I say let's start walking. There must be some way out of this place. No, we'll be safer if we can wait for daylight. There was an opening at the bottom of the embankment, maybe a cave. We can spend the night there. We can spend the night in there. We've got to think this out. But how does anyone think out the impossible? John, I'm frightened. You know about these things. You can't really mean we've stumbled back in time somehow. Tell me you're joking. Maybe he wasn't joking, Martha. Look at these. I found them at the back of the cave. Flint, a flint knife and an axe. Carl, do you know what this means? These are Stone Age weapons. I know. Let's get out of here now. If there's a way back, we'd better find it, and fast. Carl Morton stumbled from the cave, and the others followed. And, yeah, John, that's Carl.
No, that
and
used to
in pain, horrible pain. What's that, Pops?
I said, no, that used to be Carl. I ain't going in there.
Well, that's it. He's in pain, horrible pain. Come on. A gun, John. You have a gun. I was going to use it on Carl. I've had it for weeks. I've been half out of my mind with jealousy. But that doesn't seem important now. Somehow we've got to find him. It wasn't difficult to find Morton. He was just a few steps away in the underbrush. Carl, what happened? It's horrible, horrible. That thing, my leg, the pain. He's fainted, and no wonder both his legs are broken. Martha, behind you.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. Run, run. There was no pursuit, but Martha Hardy and John Porter ran on the wings of terror until the breath of fire was in their lungs, until they could run no more. John, what was it? It looked like a man, but it couldn't have been. It was a man out of the Stone Age, Martha. Martha, I was right. Somehow we have stepped out of our time into another. I can't explain it, but it's happened. I know why Carl's legs were broken. That beast must have caught him. And to a creature like that, food is food. You think he broke Carl's legs so that Carl wouldn't be able to run away until that monster is hungry? John,
Yeah.
no.
Yep, we're going to hang him up and bleed him here in a little while.
That's it. Yes, and we'll be next. You'll probably carry Carl to that cave. Then he'll come after us. We have fresh meat to him. We have got to get far away. No, we can't leave Carl to the mercy of that thing. John, you're a civilized man. Think. In that time, in that place, Martha's plea must have seemed ridiculous, but she was right. Yes, I'm civilized, so civilized that I wanted to kill him out of jealousy. But now, when every instinct in me screams to escape, I can't leave him. It took until morning to find the cave again and sanctuary. So far, so good. A few more minutes and we'll be all right. John, he's here.
Why is she in the lead?
So as you can see, the figure is throwing them all over the place. Help, help. Somehow, despite the agony which seared his brain, John Porter did not lose consciousness. When the beast turned away, Porter drew his gun. He fired, and the man, the thing, whatever it was, wheeled in his tracks. Oh,
With the
I think
hole in
that's
the
the
head.
same picture again. Oh no, it's dead. Oh, John dear, what did it do to you? My legs, like Carl's. But I shot it right between the eyes. I killed it. Now we know, don't we, Martha? At least we won't die wondering. Martha, that little round hole in the skull, Carl found. Now we know what made it. I did. I did with a bullet 1,000,000 years ago. 1,000,000 years ago. That was when Martha Hardy's mind snapped. She fled away from the pain-racked laughter, away from something her brain could not accept. She ran until she collapsed. A farmer found her, but it was weeks before she could tell her story. Well, Doctor, as you know, we believe that she murdered her 2 companions. How else could 2 men just vanish? But the decision is yours. She is sane, no? I'm afraid not, Captain. You heard her story. A pity, but she is quite mad.
Quite mad.
And that's the end.
Quite mad. How noble of you, Carl. Yeah. Dustin knows that's not the kind of Carls we run into.
Mm.
We run into, they all just need to be shot. Every one of them. Every
So-
single one.
So hopefully you enjoyed that.
Very nice. Very nice. Maya.
Oh, that was just a little video. So this is the next one. This is the main event. The Marvel Superheroes 17 presents the Black Knight. 25 cents. So I think this is from 1969, if I remember rightly. So it's going back a bit.
Yeah.
Going back a bit. So this is brought to you by Stan Lee. Proudly presents a long-awaited landmark by Roy Thomas writer and Howard Purcell artist. Inking by D. Atkins and Co. and lettering by Sam Rawson.
Roy Thomas. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So it starts off, the Black Knight reborn, across the fathomless void of unnumbered centuries, called the fateful phantom voice. And one dark rain-swept day, it was answered. In answer to the most overwhelming reader demand since the introduction of the Silver Surfer, Magnificent Marvel has created a sword and sorcery saga of today and of the legends-laden era when there were knights abroad in the land. And now let the wonderment begin. And this is actually from 1968, November 1968, Pops.
Yeah.
So we open with a fork of lightning, crack. Like some wounded wingless fly, the decrepit tourbus creeps along muddy English byroads through a web of cascading rain, and the castle is there waiting. There she is, folks. We'll be snug and warm inside her in just a minute. If the ruddy lightning don't get us first, that is. That's an English word, by the way, ruddy, in case you're wondering. But the castle has waited for over a millennium. It can wait a few more minutes more. Move along with you now. Don't want none of my charges catching their death. And the back of the bus says Waverley Tours London on it. It's cold, clammy stones, listen, as the tour guide drones on for perhaps the 1000th time. There's legends that say that Garrett Castle here dates back to before 1066. Some even claims it's the very spot where King Arthur himself was murdered. Knights in armour, castles for half-forgotten myths. Why does my life seem forever bound up with such useless trifles?
We got a question from Dustin. He wants to know, you got that physical book, right? I'm pretty sure.
No, I haven't. Well, I do have it in the. I do have this in my one of my omnibus books.
Yeah, the omnibus with this in it. Yes,
it's an omnibus. It's in one of my omnibus books. Yeah, but I don't have
used to have a huge collection. He used to have a huge collection, but
I sure did.
I mean, he still has a huge collection. Don't get me wrong, but he's been changing it over to thicker books.
I have, yeah, I certainly have. But I've also kept quite a bundle for my spinner rack and boxes that I'm not selling. So
he's got a lot of books.
I've still got a lot. I've definitely got a lot of art books as well, by the way. You know, like lots of different kinds of art books and stuff like that too. So, yeah, I'm not short of something to read.
If you ever watched the show-offs back in the day, where the show originated, the show-off,
yeah,
used to show stuff off all the time that we had. We compared our collections, and he'd show off an English version of a book, and I'd have the American version of the same book on the screen at the same time.
That's right. Yep.
We kind of like went through so much. It was like, what are we going to do next? And we changed it to this format where we're actually going through the book now. So Anyway, carry on, Dave.
Okay. So he's thinking to himself, as you can see, once I soared through New York skies as the Black Knight. Was that just weeks ago or years? And that's a reference to, matter of fact, it was Avengers 40, 54 and 55, Stickler Stan. So, but he's saying, but I've given up on all that crusading bit for good. All I want is to sell this castle I just learned I inherited and get back to the States. Still, I couldn't resist looking at it as just another tourist. Ah, but you're not just another tourist, Dame Whitman, as you discover brief seconds later when, funny, must have daydreamed for a minute, where are the others? That portrait, didn't notice it before. Something about it seems so familiar. I've done this as a full page because it's odd-shaped panels and all that, so we'll start up here. Wait, now I know. That face, he could be my twin, but how? And those eyes staring right through me into my very soul. Then, from deep within, and yet from incredibly far away, the young American seems to hear a voice, even as the staring eyes fill his entire consciousness. Like a man in a trance, he steps forward, feel almost compelled to press the centre of this stone. Maybe playing at being a superhero for a while got to me, but here goes. The next instant, a sudden sliding panel, a roaring as a long contained winds, and he slides down. Landed, light as a feather. What in blazes? Dazed, his senses shaken as much by his seeming good fortune as by the dizzying fall itself, Dame Whitman stumbles to his feet and towards a dimly viewed light. Got to get back to the others, but I must be in some dungeon beneath the... Good Lord! A skeleton, pierced by an ancient sword, and over there a stone sarcophagus. What in the name of heaven have I stumbled onto? Cautiously, his eyes growing ever more accustomed to the darkness, Dane enters a dank enclosure. A dead end, no other exit I can see. It seems almost like a trap. Trap set especially for me. But that's insane. This nutty place must be reaching me. Cat there? Well, we'll just throw a little light on the subject. There, that ought to chase all the little goblins away. 'Tis scarcely a fit matter for jest, my friend. Her? Then, looking up, the young man sees and hears, you have lit the brazier of truth, mortal, and in doing so have called me from the endless sleep without repose. For none save the true heir of the house of Scandia could have caused the long-dead flame to rise heavenward. Look, I don't know where you came from, mister, but I don't need any cheap theatrics to liven up my tours. I'll take them straight, so cut the cornball emotion, Gaze on me again, Dame Whitman, and open your eyes. And he's thinking, what in blazes does he... Wait, his armour, so much like my own. And he called me by name, though I signed up for the tour under a pseudonym. Who are you? What do you want of me? So at last you see the truth. I am Sir Percy of Scandia, he whom Merlin the Magnificent did once dub the Black Knight. And I am every man, but most of all, Dame Whitman, I am you. This must be some sort of nightmare, or else I'm going mad. Again, another full page because of the shapes and stuff going on. Fear not for your safety. List to my tale of tragedy and triumph, and learn the why and wherefore of your summons. 'Twas during the great war twixt King Arthur and his vile nephew Mordred. I called you, Sir Knight, because Arthur Pendragon has repaired to your own castle to plan his strategy. Hasten thither and render service in this most fateful of hours. I shall guard our king with my life, wise Merlin. I rode like the very wind that night towards the castle I kept as Percy of Scandia. Why persist this nameless feeling of dread? Yet the ramparts of my castle came into view. I heard the tumultuous sounds of mortal combat, heard the horses shout of Mordred the Evil, and knew that I was too late. The king has fallen, victory is ours. And even as I entered my own portals, I knew that the sun had set forever on the glory that was Camelot. Arthur's few guards are slain to a man, as was he. Yet these 3 blackguards live. 'Tis the Black Knight. Kill him, that he may rejoin his liege lord. Their words seared into my tormented brain. I struck out with my irresistible ebony blade, but knowing all the way that I had failed my king. In that moment, I was grateful for my face concealing helmet, which did mask my streaming tears. For when the last of the traitorous trio had fallen, and I surveyed my deadly handiwork, not all this bloodshed may help my liege draw one more breath. I failed in the one thing that mattered. But Mordred, where is... Here, Black Knight, lurking in the sinister shadows which sired him. And now let my bare dagger do what a host of skilled swords could not. Mordred, arg! And then all was black, till I beheld the troubled countenance of Merlin gazing down upon me. I failed, Merlin, failed. Nor was any knight ever more glorious in victory, my son. And now say no more. Next, turning from where I lay dying, the unspeakable aged sorcerer drew mystic symbols upon the floor. And 'twas decreed that Arthur should die, but Camelot become but a memory. This I knew, yet dared hope in vain to stem the tides of the all-consuming fate. For Merlin too is but human, and shall soon be gone forever. But not so the Black Knight. And then all was black, till I beheld the troubled countenance of Merlin gazing down upon me. Oh, I think I've done this one before. I failed, Merlin, failed. Yeah. Did that one before. Hang on, let me just double check. Oh yes, I know what I did. I did it that way. Right. Then, as I sensed my mortal eyes closing for the final time, old Merlin turned to me. The light of yon brazier is extinguished, even as your life was ultimately snuffed out. But when the spirit of Mordred the Evil once more stalks the land, you shall live again through another. And now farewell, most valiant knight of all. Farewell. For long untold centuries has my wraith waited here in this dark and foreboding castle, waiting for the one who was of the lineage of Scandia to set foot within these memory-haunted walls. And you say, I'm the one you want? Then that must explain why I took up the identity of the modern Black Knight. It was some inborn instinct, some unconscious remembrance in the stories I heard from my uncle. But what of Uncle Nathan? Why did he never hear you summons? Ah, but he did, Dame Whitman, in his own way. Yet first you must know more of the far-famed ebony blade, which wise Merlin once fashioned for me from a star which fell from the secret shrouded heavens. He created it to be invincible, and one who wields it could be killed only by a weapon made from out of that selfsame meteor. Then it must have been such a weapon that killed me many centuries ago. Aye, that it was. And now behold the ebony blade clutched in the yonder wall-locked hand. 'Twas this very sight which once your evil uncle did espy. Pull yon sword from its enchanted scabbard, and ye shall prove yourself worthy. Slowly, hesitatingly, Dame Whitman approaches the sheathed blade, and then I did it. And now I'm suddenly in my garb as the Black Knight once more, while my namesake Sir Percy has utterly vanished. But the young American has no spare moment to ponder such eerie happenings, for just then the very wall which held the clutching hand seems to explode outwards. There's a big sound effect for you, Pops.
Wham!
That's the one. How's that for a splash page? To reveal a living, loathsome entity whose skull-like face and fearsome form bespeak the ageless menace from which has lain dormant for more than a millennium. You have dared to draw... You what?
It's a Nephilim name.
Yeah. You have dared to draw the ebony blade, mortal. Then you must now defeat me, the eternal guardian, or pay the ultimate price of death. And he's going, what? That monster must be almost 8 foot tall. This sword...
You're going to earn this sword, Junior.
That's the one. This sword, that strange tale. Were they all part of some vile trick, a hoax that would lead me merely to my own doom? Crunch. Oh, I better save the hypotheses for later.
Yeah.
If there is a later for me, that decision rests with you, mortal. Choose wisely, for your time grows short. What does he mean, choose wisely? What choice do I have, only to strike at my foe, who seems already unliving? Or the mace? He meant to strike his mace. You guessed rightly, man of flesh and blood. My guardianship of the ebony blade is done. Now 'tis time for the sleep which never ends. The enchanted sword is yours. They're gone, all gone, nothing left. Now don't go off like that, Gov. We're here, right enough. The tour guide, but the Black Knight, where's the who, mate? Sure you didn't land on your head when you fell? Didn't realise I'm in another part of the castle somehow. It all happened when I sheathed this sword. Sorry, friend, guess it was a nasty fall at that. I'll just catch my breath and rejoin the tour. Right, but don't be long. And he's thinking, if you ask me, he sneaked off to have a drop of that spot.
Yeah, had me coughing up a lung that time, Dave.
So then he says, gone now, the sceptre and trappings of long-dead warriors, as Dane Whitman stands alone amidst cobwebs, darkness, and the ageless, all-devouring dust. Nothing left but the sword. Only the sword remains. Then, on a sudden impulse, not even he could explain, the youthful American raises the sheathed blade before him with unseen phantoms, his sole witness, and unbroken silence his only answer. I was called here for a purpose. I know that now. And although I still cannot fathom that purpose or the fate which may lie in store for me, yet here and now I do vow to give substance to the words spoken by Merlin. The Black Knight shall live again through me. But even as the ragged tourist bus creeps off down a still muddy road, phantom doubts begin to haunt the mind of Dame Whitman. Can't forget what my astral ancestor said about how a weapon made from that long fallen meteor could kill him who wields the ebony blade. Was there a warning in his voice? For Mordred's dagger may still exist. Have I donned the mantle of the Black Knight once more to my own inevitable doom? Then the bus is gone from sight. Darkness shrouds the land, and the brooding castle waits no longer, for it has done its part, and done it well. While in the Soho district of not distant London, Lady Dibble take this pelting rain, won't it ever let up? Yet, why should a man feel fear with the falling of mere raindrops? It must be this feeling I've had all day, as if I were being closely watched, scrutinized, like an insect beneath a microscope. But here is my flat. Made it. Although why should I rejoice to escape the miseries of the present, only to face one more of the terrors of the past? Why do I keep that poster when it can merely remind me? Remind me of the days when Paul Richard Le Sabre was one of the most famous artists in all of Europe. Viola, Madame de Mesures? Why must I relive that moment terrible when my hand, that hand which had never trembled, never faltered, suddenly failed me? Mon Dieu, failed me, ending my career and a girl's life. I must not torture myself any longer. I must not. I must get some sleep, try to forget. And so a tormented mind drifts off into a restless, fitful slumber, as the soulless ticking of the clock seems to fill his half-waking brain until someone is in this room with me. Someone or something. Tick, tick, tick. Then the fearful Frenchman opens wide his eyes in utter disbelief, as sights not meant for mortal man fill the dark void of his room, and he hears a voice from beyond the icy grave. Rise, Paul Richard, you who were once known as Le Sabre. The depths of your subconscious have called to me across the bottomless chasm of time itself, for I am Mordred. Mon Dieu, this is some nightmare I dream. Has my guilt, my remorseless self-pity driven me to the edge of madness?
Madness? He said madness.
He did, hang on. There you go, madness. Yep, that's the one. Is this some cheap theatrical ruse? Be warned, Paul Richard bows to no man. Then, down upon your knees, insolent mortal, for Mordred the evil is much more than mere death-bound man. Rise, Paul Richard, look into the eyes of Mordred, he who has stalked the dusty corridors of time itself. Look at my face and read there that which you have never before known. That face, I've seen it before. Somehow I think I saw it the night my partner was killed. Aye, Violet, and you shall see it again. Indeed, you shall see it the days of your short life, unless you do the bidding of Mordred the evil. And now, to give you but a faint glimpse of the power at my fingertips. Then there was a brief second of dizziness, and sacre bleu, I am on the same London street. What trick of the devil is this? The devil is perhaps involved, mortal, but this is scarcely some human trick. Since my co-dwellers from the land of shades disturbs you, I thought it best to send them back whence they came. Yet you still have not said what you want of me. What can Paul Richard do for you, for one such as you? Paul Richard can do little, but much may be done by one whom the world called Le Sabre. And now, earthbound one, do you believe that Mordred can do that which he threatens or which he promises? Fulfill but one task for me, and you shall be haunted no longer. Can it be? I am suddenly clothed in armour like your own. I am Le Sabre once more, but for what evil purpose?
What evil purpose?
There is one whom I must see killed before I may walk the earth in the flesh once more. But to destroy him, you will need that. A lifeless gargoyle? But how? Then with the mind-rending suddenness, the gargoyle lives. The barrier between life and death is not nearly so fixed as your puny mind conceives, mortal. Do not fear the monster, for it exists but to do your bidding, just as you shall do mine. Thus, scant seconds, moments later, it's beyond belief. The one named Mordred said this beast would take me to the one I must kill, and kill him I shall. If only then can my soul know peace. Meanwhile, in a rented cottage on the outskirts of London, a single light issues from a lattice window as within 4 deceptively peaceful walls. No use, can't concentrate on this legal paperwork. Not while I still don't know just why I was called to my ancestors, Sir Percy. But while the gleaming sword hangs there before me, bidding me to know what, not what, maybe if I put it in the stable with Aragon, I'll be able to concentrate. Good old Aragon couldn't let you languish back in the States, though getting a winged horse through customs wasn't easy. We made quite a team, one I'd have staked the world against, you and me in the ebony blade. Then unthinkingly, almost as if unspoken command was uttered, Dame Whitman draws the great sword and I've become the Black Knight again. So Merlin's enchantment remains, but it will cease when I return the blade to its scabbard. However, the next astonishing moment, the armour didn't vanish. It's almost as if my ancestor was telling me he has need of me tonight. Or perhaps the day's experiences have just turned me into a superstitious fool. And yet I keep thinking of Mordred's long-lost dagger and the world of Percy Discaria. Maybe a turn through the sky will soothe my jangled nerves. Away, Aragon. But as the winged steed and the dark rider soar through the skies over London, 2 piercing eyes glare at them through the night, and as the moon shines down upon the face transfigured, a face no longer that of Paul Richard, but one as evil as the merciless as Mordred himself. There is the one I seek, the one I must kill if I'm to be free of Mordred's haunting presence. Though I was called Le Sabre, I was the master of all ancient hand weapons, including the axe. And now I strike. Yet, as the possessed mortal swoops low from out of an overhanging cloud, mon Dieu, I just graze him in my haste. No matter, my second charge shall complete the task. Desperately, his muscles aching, the costumed crusader clings to his mount's bridle for a few seconds. The attack came as I knew it must, and yet I didn't even see him who struck me. Wait, that huge shadow diving down towards me. Seconds later, after remounting his flying steed, it can't be, but have I taken leave of my senses? A gigantic winged monster like something from a madman's nightmare, and astride it, a man whose eyes glare with sheer stark hatred. But why? I know not who you are, Mass One, but you must die, and die swiftly. That is the decree of Mordred the Evil. Mordred the Evil, then, his sinister spirit stalks the land again, as Sir Percy said. It was for this that my long-dead ancestor summoned me. For this. Higher, Aragon, soar higher. Oops. Mere height will not save you now. Clang. His axe grazed my arm and ripped my light armour to shreds. Wait, that battle axe. It's made of some eerie metal. Could it be Mordred's fatal dagger, recast in a new form, but nonetheless deadly to me? It is my only hope to turn, to flee, and thus to delay my fate. But no such thoughts are for cowards. As long as the Black Knight blazes darkly in my hand, I must fight on, no matter what the cost. And the next second, agonizingly, my sword splintered the axe into 1,000 pieces. Yet even as the black-clad horseman speaks thus, the dagger which Mordred gave me, he bade me keep it hidden for just such a moment. But just then, a regal horse named Aragon swoops upwards again. That hoof struck my hand, as if by design, dropped my knife, my final weapon. So, such is the boundless treachery which Mordred yet spans after countless centuries. The axe was but a ruse to lower my guard against the thrust of a mere dagger. Was it my ancestor's hand that guided me to my steed, that saved me for another day? But that is something I will ever know. All that matters is that I live to strike out at the sinister emissary of Mordred, by smiting his mindless, misshapen monster on which he rides. Ah, the ebony blade struck some vital point, yet as the beast reels, it tosses its rider to its death. Help! No, I cannot let him die. Don't be afraid, my friend, I have you. No answer. He passed out from fear. Slowly, with an instinctive inborn gentleness, both knight and winged mount lower their unconscious captive to the cobbled street far below. My foe is changing into more normal clothing. I'll leave him here to awaken with a theorus of regret, for I can sense he was but a pawn in the grasping hand of Mordred. But the dagger he carried, it still exists, fallen somewhere in the sprawling city. Until I find it, destroy it, I can know no peace. And yet, on the day I find it, I know I may breathe my last. And at that self-same moment, in a dim twilight world where death is but a word, a syllable, those very meaning, have almost been forgotten. 'Tis the nether gods, they who gave me spirit, the power to walk once more amongst men. What do you want, dread Cyrus? Is this how you reward our gift of life, which is not life, Mordred? Aye, by letting your chosen emissary be defeated, then saved, by him whom you thought to destroy? Perhaps we were wrong to unleash your evil anew on the hapless earth. No, dire ones, you were not wrong. It was but a fool to whom I gave my first charge, as now I know. I shall not make such a mistake a second time. This do I vow, that not even the upstart Black Knight shall survive when Mordred next spins his evil web. While on a darkened street corner in suburban London, I tell you, officer, something fell over there just a few seconds ago. Something huge that nearly struck me. We'll soon see soon enough, Gov, as soon as I turn my flash on it. There, you see, it was nothing but a stone gargoyle, smashed into 1,000 pieces, although where it might have fallen from is a mystery that may never be solved. The end, or the most macabre beginning of all. There we go.
Most excellent.
There was a lot of reading, but I got through it.
Very cool.
We didn't do so bad with that one, did we?
No, I hope everybody liked that. That's some old school. That's how it was back in the day. You actually got a story with your art, you know.
You did that, and that was a 12-page story, by the way. And there was a lot in it, and a lot happening, and a lot of text. But you know, we got through it.
Yeah, good stuff.
I hope everybody enjoyed that.
So, Dave.
Yeah.
What's on the spinner rack today?
Well, what's on the spinner rack today, Pops, is this issue of Mystery Incorporated.
I have that book. Yes, I do.
You have that book?
Yes, I do.
Well, I've got the full set of these. This is book one. And it was published in, let me check. It was published in 1993, Pops. 1993. So that's going back a little bit. Yeah. So I'll just show you a couple of the internal pages. The art is by, inks by Dave Gibbons. Let's see if I can hold that up a bit more for people to see. Might be a bit tricky, but need to be a bit flatter than that. But yeah. Just show you a couple of pages of this to close off. Yeah, I quite like the art style anyway. You know, it's sort of like, it's got that retro feel to it, I think.
It reminds me of early Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was just thinking it's kind of very similar with the panels, isn't it? Really kind of a similar feel
Betty
to it.
Brant looking chick right there. She looks just like Betty Brant for me.
She does, doesn't she? I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I think I would agree with you there on that one. Yeah, they even did a similar style of a bullpen bulletins page as well. Item and all that. Well, there you go. Wear yesterday's t-shirt today. How's that for an advert? Wear yesterday's t-shirt today.
Look, that says 1963.
No, well, it's a send up of I think it's a send up of an advert. I don't think it's a real advert, or is it? I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just saying that's the year I was born.
Well, yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, 1963, as it says on the cover there, Pops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the book was published in 93, so just so as you know. That's the next page. So I'll flick through this one for people to have a little look at. And that's the final page there of the first issue. And you've got your letters page, mystery mailbag. And then you've got your posters at the back. Crystal Man. You've got, who's that? Neon something or other. And Kid Dynamo. And finally, you've got that one there. That is, look out, there's a planet coming. And then that's the final inside back page. And that's the very back page.
Shamed by you English?
Yeah, shamed by you English.
Oh, that's freaking hilarious.
Oh, yes. I don't think some of these were real adverts, you know.
No.
Anyway, there you go. That's...
even if they aren't, they're hilarious. If they are, it's even more hilarious.
Well, that's it. So, yeah. So that was a quick look through one of my Spinner Rack comics. Just to finish off.
All right. It's a good show, Dave. I had a good time, man.
Yeah. Enjoyable.
We're going to have to figure out something for next week.
Well, I've got something already in my head, so I'll send you the front cover to see what you think.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
And I will, for sure, next week have something to show that came from across the pond. Actually,
I certainly hope so.
It went across the pond. It's coming back across the pond.
Right. Oh.
It began here, right down
the road. It did. It began over there. It ended up over here. Now it's coming back again.
Yeah. We're going to show y'all next week. If you missed it a couple of weeks ago, Dave pulls something down off a spinner rack that was created by somebody who lives right down the road. Actually, local comic store, Buy Me Toys. So we're going to be running that one down to see Casey.
Absolutely, Pops.
Too.
Yeah, you'll have to tell her the story behind it when you take it.
Oh, I already did. I
right, okay.
The show so she could watch.
Good.
I tagged Kelly, his wife.
Yeah.
In the show. she also, you know, I mean, they run the store together. But I mean,
Yeah.
I tagged her and showed her, you know, look, and I told her it's coming home.
That's it. It's coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Thanks again, Dave. That was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Pops.
It's just so weird, man, because I mean, you could have showed any book on your spinner rack, right?
I could. It's strange how that worked out because, you know, I mean, I'm not showing every single issue of every single comic I've got.
Right. It's just weird that a book that was, you know, created by a guy who's, you know, right down the road.
Yeah. That's very strange, isn't it, the way that's worked
ends
out?
up on your spinner rack with Greg Horn's autograph.
Yeah.
And then ends up on my show or our show, you know, but I mean, show originates right here where the comic originated. That's crazy.
Yeah, nice.
We're having fun, Dave. We're having
fun.
Well,
that's why I sent it to you, Pops, because I knew you would appreciate it.
Oh man, you don't even know how much, just because of the I mean, you know, the local lore, you know, with Kelly and Casey and the store, and you know, I mean, they set up a booth at the cons. I've done spots with them at all the cons I go to. You know, with her at least, she's always there. You know,
no, that's it. That's it.
And they usually set up right next to. Man, I'm trying to think of dude's name. He does turtle covers.
Oh, right.
But he's done covers for them for their, you know, like store exclusive stuff as well. And, you know, he sets up right next to her booth so that they're right next to each other. You can buy books from him or from her and have him sign them, whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
But, you know, this kind of stuff is what it's all about, man. It's a small world, Dave. Even from
it sure is.
Pond, bro.
That's it. I fully agree.
Even from across the pond, it's a small world. So
certainly is.
Tune in later on today. We got another show coming from across the pond. We got A Drink with Brink, and his guest is Vinny Tardamella. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. It's been a long time. I haven't talked to Vinny in a long time, so it'd be cool to see what's up with him. And let's see what else. Then we got the Q&A art stream at 4, and Talon Crew over on Pilled, right? Talon Crew, yeah. And let's see. Then what? Dash of Reading at 6, and 3 Beer Men at 7, and Silverline at 8. So, you know, another full day of programming here on the Madness. And that means I'll be sending out a whole bunch of raids over to people on Pilled all day long. Let's see. I think we're going to raid.
Well, like you say, our clocks change in 2 weeks' time. So it'll be 3 o'clock for me next week as well then.
Yeah, and we'll get back to normal in a minute.
Oh yeah. I'm just 1 hour I'm just 1 hour less in the future for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was funny because last week, Dave Frank, you know, from Netherlands, I told him right before the show started, or you know, like day before, like we need to switch the time on it. You know?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I gotta let my guests know."
Well, put it this way, it's a good job you sent me that message. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known.
I'm getting used to all this, Dave. This is the one time of year that's really screwy because of our overseas. Like,
it just confuses. I just get confused twice a year because it doesn't happen on the same weekend. That's all.
Right, and we got shows, you know, that come out of Singapore and the Netherlands and everywhere, right? So
that's right. Yeah,
something I had to get used to and keep abreast of. Where
that's it.
Phoenix, right, and Phoenix does not change.
Right.
Arizona does not change time.
Okay.
So everybody else does in Arizona, like, man, screw that.
Oh dear. That's
So
even more.
that's even.
I was going to say that's even more confusing then.
Well, it's just the times change for everybody else. So it's
exactly.
Like half the year Pacific time would be half the year we'd be 2 hours different from the East Coast, and half the year we'd be 3 hours difference from the East Coast.
It's a bit like in Australia. There's a time difference between the East and West Coast of Australia as well.
Yeah, it's just weird, But
different time zones depending on where you are.
The thing that affected the most was like TV shows, right? A primetime TV show, like a football game in New York, starting at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or or let's see, let me rephrase that. Something starting on the West Coast in prime time at 8 o'clock, it's already 11 p.m. in the East Coast.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that whole 3-hour football game, you're up until 2 a.m. You see what I'm saying? It's like, that's the weird part of it. And half the year would only be a 2-hour difference. Half the year would be a 3-hour difference.
That's it.
But TV shows is the thing that affected the most. Let's be serious. Your show changed time. The show you watch every week that was on 8 o'clock last week, it's going to be on at 7 o'clock this week. For the next 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So, that was the weird part of it. It only really affected TV, sporting events on TV, and TV shows. Stuff. Other than that, did you really care if it was 3 hours earlier or later somewhere else?
Not really.
It's like, unless you plan on calling somebody and you usually figure that out. Oh, damn, it's 8 o'clock in the morning there. Maybe I'll let them wake up. Right?
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Don't wake people up in the morning, and just. All right, Dave, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to sign out of here. Great show. I will see you next week, my friend.
Yeah, I'll see you next week, Pops. And I've crossed my fingers you get that comic arriving as well.
Oh, it should get here this week. It's been on the road for a while. So.
It's been on the road for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to show you a couple of ads from books that are in late pledges. You can still get them. And one that's still active, I think, for a couple more days. So check these out. Y'all have a great day. Peace.
Catch you next time, Pops.
All right, Dave.
Take care.
Path of the Pale Rider. Oh yeah, Path of the Pale Rider is a Western apocalypse comic book series where death is broken. We're following a cowboy through the wasteland as he sifts through conspiracy theories trying to figure out what the heck happened. We don't have flesh-craving zombies. We have people whose soul didn't leave when their body died, and their mind slowly rots. There's no magic bullet to the brain, there's no escape. You feel pain, you decompose, you lose your humanity. And by the way, this affects people, animals, insects, fish. So do you have like 5,000 questions about how this world works? So does everybody else.
If you missed the live viewing of any Meg production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. Madness Entertainment Group.